to another week of Sunday School. My name is Sister Nirupa, and this week we're going to learn about the story of Joseph and the coat of many colors. The story of Joseph starts off in the land of Canaan, where a young boy, 17 years old, named Joseph, lived with his family. Joseph's father's name was Jacob, and Joseph was a very gifted young boy. Joseph could almost always interpret dreams. Aww. He had a talent for understanding dreams. Joseph had a big family. He lived with 11 brothers and sisters. That's a lot of siblings to play with. But Joseph was very close to his father. They had a very special relationship together. And so his father, Jacob, had a very special robe made for Joseph. The robe was sort of like a coat, something bright and beautiful and adorned, and it had all of the colors you can think about. It was very fancy. What's your favorite color? My favorite color is pink, although I'm wearing purple. But when Joseph's brothers saw that their father gave Joseph such a beautiful robe and they didn't get anything, they got angry and they got jealous and they started to plot against Joseph. They wanted him gone. So Joseph's brothers sold Joseph to the Egyptians to be a slave. And they took his beautiful robe and they threw it away. So Joseph was betrayed by his brothers. But God had a plan for Joseph. That didn't stop him. The Lord was with Joseph his entire life, and he helped him to do everything that Joseph needed to do to survive. Joseph ended up being in the house of a powerful man named Potiphar. And because Joseph had God on his side, Potiphar gave Joseph a high position in his house. And God favored Joseph to put him there. Because of God's favor on Joseph's life, Joseph was eventually recognized by the Pharaoh. A pharaoh is a king, is the ruler of Egypt. You can't get any higher than the pharaoh. And the pharaoh was pleased with Joseph because Joseph interpreted the pharaoh's dreams on behalf of God. And the pharaoh couldn't find anyone else to do this. It was such a rare talent. And so he became the pharaoh's favorite person. And the pharaoh rewarded him by placing him in charge of all of the land in all of Egypt. He was the pharaoh's right-hand man. They were best friends. And Joseph finally was rewarded after all those years of betrayal. The whole of Egypt came to see Joseph. People from all countries came to see Joseph. And one day, Joseph's brothers came to visit him. And when his brothers came, Joseph wasn't angry with them for what they did all those years ago, for betraying them. No, he wasn't. He was actually forgiving. He forgave his brothers. He asked about his dad. And they ended up telling him that they were sorry for what they did, but they were suffering and they needed his help. And so Joseph, with his big heart and his mind on God, took his brothers and their families in his palace in Egypt. And together they lived and they were happy and all was forgiven. And God had all of this planned out for Joseph since he was a young boy. Today's craft is going to be the coat of many colors, that famous coat. It was so beautiful And the Bible says it was so heavily adorned that it could be seen from a distance. And so today we're going to recreate as colorful as possible that coat that Joseph wore. If mommy or daddies have a paper plate for you, you can start by making 3 lines on the paper plate. You can do one across to separate where his face will be, and 2 lines downwards in a slight curve to separate the 2 panels of the coat. And once that's done, you can start coloring it in. I chose some really bright colors so I could see it from a distance. You can choose any of your favorite colors. You can do any patterns that you want. And once you're done, you can draw a smile and a nose to indicate Joseph's face. Well, I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed the story, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye!